All right. Welcome to episode 2, I guess. Yeah. So today I'm gonna be talking about um something a cool update personally, and then we're gonna try to figure out how to get some torches because I really don't want to leave you guys in the dark for these videos. So I don't know if can wait. Hold on. Can I burn stuff or can I? Oh, I can. Okay. Cool. 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 Well, short video, I guess. No, but yeah. So cool update. I'm writing a book, or books, I guess. So I haven't really talked about this much. I've made a couple posts on my TikTok before, but nothing crazy, you know. Um, so I guess I could just start back to the beginning. About 2018, it was right around the time when Stranger Things. Oh, hold on, let me turn down the sound. Okay, it was right around the time Stranger Things season 2 came out, and me and my sister would watch it all the time. You know, I was just thinking about how people feel about season 5 nowadays, but back in the day it was pretty hype. Um, yeah. Anyway, so along with that came my imagination. I would always, oh wow, that's nice. I would always um, imagine like like I would create characters or really just myself and put them in Stranger Things in the show. Um, and then eventually that became like their own distinct characters. And then I started creating worlds, and then oh wow, it's okay. Um, let's get some light for you guys. Yeah, and so that created, it started creating their own stories, and the characters developed into more fleshed out other versions, and the worlds became more fleshed out, and you know, it's obviously been a long time coming in terms of making. Oh wow, charcoal just looks like coal. In terms of making stories, right? And like developing, um, crafting stuff, so storytelling, and let there be light. Sweet. Let's make a perimeter. Yeah. So fast forward to about eighth grade, and I got the idea to write a book. And since then, I've been on and off. Nothing's really. Let me clear this. Nothing's really happened. Um, and then I need to make a bed. And then, um, yeah, I would go in and out of phases, and then I discovered screenwriting and the movie making process, and I loved it. I thought it was magical, and I guess we'll mine while I talk, make a basement or something. And yeah, and then I just loved film, and I eventually went to school for it, and I had to stop. And then I eventually just found out film wasn't for me. And since then, um, while I'm working and I'm preparing to go on a mission for my church, I started getting into writing again and storytelling, especially. Hold on, the sound is. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, especially with Stranger Things and just other movies. I eventually, my dream my would be to have my stories turn into films, and I would love to be a part of that process, especially because I know how, I may not be a master at it, but I know how screenwriting works. Is that enough? Yeah. Basement. Um, yeah, and then so I have so many worlds. I mean, in my head, I've just created worlds and characters and like my own little. Actually, no, keep that there. My own little universe. Um, yeah. So now I had some writer's block, but now I'm back into a better function, I guess. I'm back into writing mode, so I'm really excited. And so, yeah, I have some ideas, I guess, and um, yeah, so I have a fantasy one that I'm really excited. It's inspired by D&D, Lord of the Rings, just mythology and the Crusades. Because I see a lot of writers. What am I doing? I see a lot of writers, and they always use Tolkien as their inspiration, and understandably so. The guy's he kind of reshaped fantasy, kind of a renaissance in of itself, I guess. But I don't want to just go back and make a oh hey my first fight. Let's see if I can handle it. Sweet. Oh wow, they dropped feathers. Um, yeah, I just don't want to go back to just Tolkien and not make a commentary or anything. I don't like the way these stairs. I think it's inconvenient. But yeah, so I'm actually going to the source like he did. Classic mythology to which classic um, fantasy creatures. Sweet. Um, Classic fantasy creatures are from, and how what would become known as fantasy is shaped. And so I may or may not draw some concept art and show you guys. Or I might just keep it private and safe and make illustrations for the actual book. With me preparing to go on a mission, and I'm gonna make a video about that in the probably right now, and then just submit it later. Or just other religious stuff, because I want to make more religious content. Anyway, um, let's see. Yeah, I what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know when it'll be finished. And to be honest, I've kind of been more in the zone of writing another book I have, which is kind of like John Wick meets mm, Kingsman a little bit with supernatural, I guess, with a Tarantino-esque vibe. Or Tarantino was the inspiration because that was back when I was into film. Um, yeah. So the characters I've created, the one I'm writing more, the one that's more like John Wick, I had them in my head, those characters, since they're probably my original characters. They're not the same like when they were first created, but um, here, let's make a door here. But they're essentially kind of the OGs. And then I have my fantasy story. That one's really comparatively new, but I have such a world design about it, and I have a feeling that this will go well. That it'll be successful. Obviously, success being a relatively vague term, I suppose. Ooh, I could make sort of like a basement or like a lower. I like that. Okay, we'll do that when we have more time. But yeah, um, let's make a door. I don't want no monster coming in. Cool. Yeah, and I have some other stories planned, and yeah, so hopefully, if you guys are interested, subscribe and stick around if you want updates. Um, or not. I might not be updating on books so much as, uploading, but If you're interested, just comment whatever you're curious about. Um, yeah, in terms of videos, I have a friend who really wanted me to make a video on, or just scary games. So if you want any games you want me to record, I already got one about Dispatch, which I have streamed. Um, but yeah, if you have a recommendation or just want something, let me know. Um, what else? Because I don't want to make this video too long. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you know what? I'll cut it and then maybe I'll do a double upload. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this series or this episode. I might make it a series, I might not. I really like the concept of beta Minecraft. It's very restricting, but also fulfilling, you know, and in a way kind of liberating. So we'll see. Comment, whatever. I guess just keep it respectful. And yeah, thanks for watching.